Good evening, day, whatever it feels like, 2005, and he's not been evicted yet. Who's going to go first? Brendan Rodgers or Liz Truss? And I tell you what, with Brentford looking to tie Thomas Frank down to yet another long contract, well, who's going to be left? This is the question, Top. Act now, or there'll be nobody left. And maybe we just will be left with Liz Truss.
It's time!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester LTIDtv on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
All right. So, good evening from me and the mini-me there. What is the difference between Brendan Rodgers and Liz Truss? Well, I'll tell you what, she's not scared to sack a team member or two, is she? What's the similarities? They both blame everybody but themselves. It is the preview for Leeds. We've got various games now, obviously, coming up to the World Cup. They're all being shoved in together. We've got two games this week. We've got Leeds on Thursday, 8:15. That's on Amazon. And we have got, not on TV, but on Sunday, Wolves away. 6 points is, 6 points from both games if we could, but we can't. But it's got to be a minimum of 6 points, isn't it? Really? Leicester fan is in. Ho, ho, ho. How the devil are you, sir? Welcome along. Evening, Chris. Big rumours that Poch is going to Villa. Like I say, I am afraid that if Top sits there with his finger up his arse much longer and then makes the decision, there'll be nobody left for us to go for. Yuri, the goat, Tielemans is in. Hey, Chris. Brendan Rodgers is a naughty bugger. Well, somebody's buggering him and keep getting in the team, won't they? Liz Truss versus Rodgers should be the next debate. I don't know who I actually despise more at the moment. I'd probably say give the job to Liz Truss. She can't do any worse, can she? So let's have a very quick look. He had his... I would say press conference. He had his weekly sit-down, glass of water, and 2-minute chat with the press. Johnny Evans won't make the game, so I guess that's a Marty back in again. Maddison, he's not. Obviously, he is banned. I'm trying to work out whether he is very, very stupid or very, very clever, James Maddison, because one of those two, with that challenge he made, one or two things was going to happen. He was going to get a penalty. We'd get 3 points. And wait, he's back again, Maddison. Or what happened, which of course was he was booked for diving. That booking meant he misses the next game. Is it better that he misses a game against Leeds United? And this is no disrespect to Leeds at all. But is it better that he misses that game than possibly Man City or anybody else further coming up? Conspiracy theorist, me. Conspiracy theory. Matt's in. Good evening, Matt. How the devil are you? Not even lying. Liz Cruz could do a better job than Brendan Rodgers. I'll tell you what. She'd be able to U-turn on the pitch, wouldn't she? Stupid. I mean, who asks these questions? Do the results affect the players? He was asked. Well, I'm not even going to answer that one. And the pressure, Top. Now, this is what he said about Top. I don't tend to see him much after games. We all have the same aim, which is to get the team climbing up the table. Is Top avoiding Brendan? Has Top expressed any doubts? He was asked. No. I mean, I just give up. I just give up with Brendan. Jamie Vardy, he's won more than you, but he hasn't scored a goal this season yet. Does that make him any worse than Danny Ward? Oh, I mentioned the DW again. Whoa. Okay, look, let's have a look at some facts and figures. We've got a guest coming in from Leeds United, Karl. Well, not from Leeds United, but Leeds United fan Karl. You may remember him from quizzes earlier in the season. And, of course, the wise old Al Craig will be joining us as well. So let us get ready to rumble. And let's bring the stats up. Here we go. This, I'm not going to lie, is still scaring me. Derby County finished the season on 11 points. Now, the goals doesn't matter. I'm not bothered about the goals. I think we should do the goals easily. Points. It's also Forest. We're both on 5. Where can you see the next 7 points coming from under Rodgers? You know, Brendan, you've already got us the new record of the worst ever start by any Premier League team in the 30 years it's been running. Is this another record you're going for? Going into the game, well, Leeds made a decent start, to be honest with you. I had them as my team to finish 20th. But in fairness to them, they made a decent start. But it's all gone off, wheels off wagons, etc. That said, we've never had any wheels on our wagon. Our last 5, we got the draw with Palace. We lost to Bournemouth. I mean, that is embarrassing. We beat Nottingham Forest, and in fairness, how bad must they be? Of course, we lost to Spurs, kind of given that one. But we lost to Brighton. And it's not the fact that we lost to Brighton, because Brighton have had a good start, but it's how we lost. It was how we lost, and that's what I always say. Brendan has come into the chat. Good evening, Brendan. How are you? Biggest fraud out there. I'm very worried LCFC could actually go down. Like, no lie, if Brendan doesn't improve, we have a chance of going down. We certainly do. These were the 5. He should have been gone for these 5 games. He should have been gone. Top or Brendan, who's better? Top. It's got to be Top, but he needs to start making decisions. You know, he's given him time. And please, if you're not subscribed to The Athletic, do it now. You get 6 months at £1, and I think it's $7.99. But just to read Rob Tanner, he is the best at writing on Leicester City, and he's got two articles out now at The Athletic. One of them, Leicester are a club in limbo, and pressure is growing on Kuhn Top to act, and a lovely piece then about Wout Weghorst as well. So please do check that out. But yeah. It should be a bit cooler at 8:15 on Thursday. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? We should just start a book. We should start everybody. I tell you what, everybody on Twitter, send me a message with the best Brendan excuse you've heard, and I'm going to put a collection together. But I haven't got time to research it myself, so please send me those, and I'll put something together. Leeds, last 5, they lost to Arsenal, but my God, did they put a fight up? If that Leeds turn up today on Thursday to play us, we could be in trouble. Crystal Palace, they lost to. Aston Villa, they drew. A pretty boring game, apparently. They lost to Brentford, and they drew 1-1 with Everton. Talking to Villa, apparently Poch is going to Villa. Would he see Villa as a better project than Leicester? I think you got to look at it and go. He'd look at Rochdale and think they're a better prospect than Leicester at the moment. Kieran's in. Good evening, sir. How the devil? Best Brendan excuse ever is the heat. It's up there. It's up there. I've got a little book back down there. You know, just after we won the Premier League, all the books came out, and I got sent loads to sort of review on the website. Whatever. One of those is the sayings of Claudio. I think we should definitely need a book coming out, The Excuses of Brendan. Anyway, this is our season so far in matches and goals. It's all pretty much self-explanatory there. That's the Leicester side, looking pretty shite. 1 win. How bad is that? How bad is that? And here we go. This is now. I find this very interesting because I can get this information, as you can see, off the interweb, and I say this every week, and I can see how shit Leicester City are at conceding goals after 60 minutes and only scoring a few goals after 60 minutes. My question to you is, and there's a prize for the first person to answer this in the comments. When does Brendan like to make his substitutions? Now, I'll give you a few minutes to think about that, but just look at that. After 60 minutes there, we concede more goals than the rest of the game put together. Thankfully, for once, so do Leeds. But as you can see, Leeds also have a bit of scoring quite a bit afterwards. The answer, of course, nobody's answered it yet, but the answer, of course, is Brendan makes substitutions around the 60th minute. And the prize there was going to be a meal for two with Brendan, but nobody's won it. Nobody's won it. What a shame. You look at that and you've got to say, yep, 60 minutes, Brendan makes his substitutions, Leicester collapse. And we're letting goals. As I say, thankfully, Leeds are the first team I've come across this season where probably as bad as us for conceding goals, but the difference is they do score them as well. Karl is in, our Leeds fans, will be bringing him in a second. As always, obviously, with Leeds, we do wait until sort of, the 89th minute, and then we'll bring him in at the end because he just like doing things right at the end. He's going to kill me. Alex says, mainly Samare face Soyuncu Pierre in. I'm not sure how many of those are fit, to be honest with you. Yeah, he did. I've always rated Mendy. Terry, my brother Aguna, told me in his opinion their match against Leeds was the nearest they came to losing this season. I know Leeds was so unlucky. Bamford was doubly unlucky. If that Leeds turn up on Thursday, I'm going to be hiding behind the settee. Well, from about the 88th minute onwards anyway. Let's compare the stats there. As you can see, not that they mean an awful lot, but ball possession, pretty much the same. We've certainly had sort of, a couple of hundred more attacks than they have. Offsides are there or thereabouts. Shots on target, again, not a lot of difference. Shots off target, we're both as bad as each other. If you want to get yourself a free ball, make sure your ticket's behind one of the goals looking at that. And corners, pretty much the same. But the average player ratings, look at that, 6.7 for us, 6.73 for Leeds. So again, that's going to be quite tight. And this, well, it made good reading at the start for Leeds because, like I say, Leeds seemed to have a really good start, despite me predicting where I did predict them, which I'm not going to repeat now that Karl's in, but I didn't predict them to be very high. And they started off very well, and the wheels have come off the wagon. But then again, like I said, at least they had wheels on the wagon at some point this season. Ours are still in quick fit, waiting to have air pumped into them. 5 points there we are, bottom of the league, 4 points away from safety. So we've got to win 2 games now to get out of this. We've got Leeds, we've got Wolves, and then we've got a little matter of Manchester City. Be easy, that one, for Haaland. So yeah, that's scary, and that's the scary fact is that gap is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger if we're not careful. So, draws aren't good enough. We got a point against Palace, but we needed 3 because if we're only drawing, that ain't going to close that gap, guys. This is the head-to-head. We've played each other 20 times, 9 wins each, 2 draws. Yeah, put a bit of paper between us, can't you? But we have won 6 at home, and Leeds have only won 4 away. Now, there is a saying, hashtag clutching at straws, and I think that's what I am doing there, if I'm honest with you. And then last season, we got 4 points, so it wasn't too bad, but this is a different Leeds this season. But of course, we beat them 1-0 at the end of the season, but we drew 1-1 with them back in the November. Andrew says, unfortunately, we don't have settees to hide behind in the ground. No. Come to my house. Come to my house, mate. I've got a couple of seats behind the settee. It's a 3-seater. I can fit another couple behind there. The boys in blue for you. Good evening, sir. Leicester City are bad. My sister is a Liverpool fan and said the problem is Brendan was like that for us. He's shite, came out quick and getting to get a manager. So what they're saying, first couple of seasons is okay. We had it with Ranieri. They always said with Ranieri, 1 good season and then that's him blown. And ho, we play better at home than away. I just don't think we play better well anywhere, do we? But we'll see. Look, it's Leeds. I am sure Leeds United are looking at this and thinking this is a game that they can get. If they're not, there's something wrong. They should look at this and go, look at Leicester. We're going to get 3 points. And no disrespect to Leeds, this is one of the games in this run that we've got to be looking at and thinking we could get 3 points from this, which probably means it's going to be the most boring 0-0 draw ever. But let's bring the Leeds fan in, Karl, and say, good evening, sir. How the devil are you?
I'm good, thank you, especially that comment you made earlier on, actually. It was interesting, but I'll let you off with that one anyway.
was that the 90th minute?
Yes. Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me twice. It's interesting that last result we played against you, that was Jesse Mark's first game as Leeds United manager. And we played a little bit better than we did before, even though we had a couple of chances, but you lot did win in the end, and we saw Jesse Mark's, hugging, getting his players in the team hug, and that's what he's been doing since then, to believe in themselves. So
last season it was about keeping you up, wasn't it? Which obviously in the end, or by the skin of your teeth, you did. And of course, you took those tactics into the quiz, of course, that we did.
As I usually do, yeah.
Yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Look, Karl, thanks for coming on. Big Leeds fan. Your dad was a big Leeds fan, or is a big Leeds fan. But where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can actually find me personally at Karl Levy92 on Twitter, and also you can find the channel on the Total Leaving Home Football Podcast at the LHFootballPod on Twitter, and also you can find us on Facebook and YouTube on our channel as well too. And also, if you're listening on the go on podcasts, you can find us via Apple, Google, Spotify, and other streaming services.
Brilliant. And the link to the website is in the description below on YouTube. So if you miss it there, get to there. The one random person, we're going to come up to score predictions towards the end. We always do that towards the end. We don't forget that. Jesse March. You took some stick when you appointed him. The old Ted Lasso jokes and links, and I'd only just finished watching that, to be honest, when it happened. I was a latecomer to it. But he started this season off well, didn't he?
Yeah, started season very well. The unexpected win against Wolves, actually, which we thought it was going to be a difficult game. And then the game against Chelsea was vital to get that 3-0 win. We pressed Chelsea, and that was probably one of the few nails in the coffin for Thomas Tuchel's last few weeks as Chelsea manager to completely. And then since then, it's been drawing at Southampton after a 2-goal lead. Then we lost to Brighton. And then actually we drew against Everton, Aston Villa, which there were 2 winnable games, to be quite honest. And then somehow we just lost our way a little bit, you know. So the Arsenal game, we were very close to should have got a draw at the end because it was a good game. But no, we have been struggling a little bit at the moment, you know, last few games, you know. So we are a bit out of form at the moment, but at least compared to last season, I think about 3-4 points more ahead than we were last season when we first started. So it's okay. There's a lot more to improve, you know. It's not, but like I said, the fans are still behind him regardless. And another thing he needs to do is improve himself better game by game with game management to make sure we get the right players on. And I think even the Crystal Palace loss in the second half just sucked us completely.
Well, let's bring in our other guest, and please, everybody, I want you to be gentle with this guy. Not because he's old and he should be gentle with older people, but he does actually go down to the war. Because my God, Freudian slip down to the King Power and has to watch this live for every home game, and he still manages to smile. Craig, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you both doing, guys?
Very well, thank you.
I'm well. Just talking then to Karl about Leeds, and we've just gone through obviously all the stats and figures. They had a good start, I was saying before, but they've kind of fallen away these last few games.
I think it's interesting watching Leeds from a distance because it seems
Some
like
say that's the best way to watch them.
But you're in every game, you know. Yeah, it's not like you're being outplayed or outfought or outbattled or anything. You're in every game. You're giving everyone a game. You're just not getting the results. I mean, to a certain extent, like us, you know, we've had games where we've dominated possession, had more goal attempts or whatever, but we're not getting the results either. But yeah, it's a strange one, Leeds. I must admit, I do like your manager. He was up against it, wasn't he, following Bielsa? I think anybody who followed Bielsa was in for a tough time, and I know it took a little bit of time. But what I like about him, he's got a bit of passion about him. You know, he kicks every ball, heads every ball, doesn't he? And he pushes it a bit far sometimes. But I quite like what I've seen of him so far. I don't know how Leeds fans are taking to him.
I would agree 100% the same. I think, look, we love Bielsa. Bielsa is going to be a legacy to the club every time someone will come in. And everyone, but we all knew when he was going to leave. We all knew that it's going to be big. Someone's going to take big shoes to fill, especially what he's done at the club for 4 years. You know, so if you think of like Don Revie, what he did, I think Bielsa is on top of that, up there on what he's done as manager at Leeds. I think Marsh coming in was a bit of a tough one. With everyone joking about the Ted Lasso stuff, which I need to watch a show as well too. And
you do, seriously, you do.
I know. So you know, but no, everyone's taking it quite well. I think that game against Chelsea was the most important thing in his career. Actually, his early career at Leeds to get that result, because I think everyone was questioning where the real Leeds was going to come, because after the end of the last season we had to play not the best football, but we had to find a way to stay up, and that was a critical point. He's finding ways to do that, and I think he started well, decently, and I think those last couple of games have just been tough for him, especially with his game management, because we know Bamford's coming back from his injury. I know he's still rusty at the moment, you know, especially with how he missed his penalty. So in a way, he's still rusty at the moment, so we try to get him back to full fitness properly. But at the moment, I think overall it's been okay. We're happy with him at the moment. But like I said, there'll be a few minority Leeds fans who will be questioning now again.
Yeah, there always will be. And I've got to ask you about that Arsenal game. I mean, I literally was keeping an eye on it. I think I was doing the show at the time, but I was like, you know, are they going to cry? Oh, they've had a goal disallowed. Oh, they missed a penalty. And it was like, I thought you were going to get the points there.
So did I as well. It was, and I was speaking to Luca the day before actually the game, and I said, we'll be at the game. When we come against big teams, we will be on the game, especially at home. And I think Arsenal fans were very concerned about it, and I was like, why are you concerned against us? But they were concerned, you know, because Leeds were in the first 10, 15 minutes, they were playing quite well, and I think that's what we needed to see, you know. And I think we did well till Saka scored a goal before half time. And I think we still gave it a go. And I think, you know, with the penalty with Bamford, I think Bamford was too greedy of holding the ball. I think the penalty taker would have been either I think it would have been Rodrigo or Sinquesa, one of them taking the penalty, but unfortunately he took it and he missed it. So, he put his hand up and it's his fault for that. But in the end, I think that controversial VAR decision at the end of the game was very like, right, okay, he giving him a yellow card. But I know in a way people saying, Bamford the one who took him down. Well, also these fans don't care about that. We just hate how the VAR decision goes against us, so.
Did you manage to see the game at all, Craig?
What, some of that game? Yeah, I did see some of it. And
are you worried? I mean, I'm looking at it. I haven't seen it, but obviously what I've read and what have you. If that Leeds turn up on Thursday night at the KP, we're going to be in for a game, aren't we?
The Leeds that miss penalties and can't seem to put the ball in the net. Yeah, you're right. We could. What you've seen from Leeds has always worried me and worries me about every team we play against who play at a high tempo and are very physical and press. Sometimes we can get bullied out of games these days, and that's what worries me. Not so much Leeds' overall quality, although I think you've got a couple of really good players that I think you brought in. I can't remember the
Harrison and Sinquesa. Yeah.
Aronson, yeah. He looks a player. He does Sinistera or whatever.
Yeah.
Looks good. And you were unlucky that Rodrigo was on fire, and then he got the injury.
Yeah.
He was one of my sort of outside tips in my fantasy football, and he was coming on.
Maybe as well. Yeah, I know.
But yeah, if they play at the high tempo, then that could cause us some problems. To be honest, we've got to be brave enough to try and play through the press, and a team without confidence isn't necessarily a brave team. So it could be a difficult night. And
a team with a few players missing as well. Terry says here, Craig, when you report after a match, you should call it a bird's eye view of the KP.
I might do that. Well done. I'll take that.
Just make sure you're not underneath when he's flying over, Terry. I mentioned this earlier, and Karl's probably extremely happy that we haven't going to have a Maddison in the team. I looked at that and thought, what the hell are you doing? But do you think he's been quite clever? Because he couldn't really lose because he was on that one yellow card off a suspension.
Yeah.
If he got the penalty, we've won the game. Yeah. He's a hero. Obviously, the other option was we don't get the penalty, which obviously we didn't, and he gets the yellow card for diving and he misses. And no disrespect to Leeds, I would sooner not, if he's going to miss a game, I'd sooner have Maddison against Man City than Maddison against Leeds. Do you think that was at the back of his mind, or am I being a conspiracy theorist on heat here?
Well, I think you might be, because I think we've got Wolves before Man City.
Oh, no, we have. But but I was saying it would go on on that yellow card.
Yeah, true. To be honest, I don't think that was in it. I think he was someone who wanted to win the game for his club. And I think that's all it was. And he made a bad decision, one that we would call out anyone else. So we have to call him out for it. We have to be fair. I think it was one of those where he expected that he was going to get some kind of contact. And these days, contact seems to be enough. So I don't think he was cute enough to actually manufacture that, to be honest. You'd like to think that footballers were that intelligent, but I don't think many of them are.
That said, it hasn't worked out too bad for us because, like I say, if he's going to miss a game, are you pleased? Karl, you're looking at that and thinking, no Maddison.
I am very pleased actually because for him, I know he's trying to get back in the English squad for the World Cup. So for him to miss a game, I think it's vital for us because I think he's one of your key players can make that difference. And especially after the game against Forest when he scored 2 goals, and I think he's had to come out. He's had to deal with all the criticism as well too. I like how he came out at that interview, and the light is being faulty as well. I was going
to say hello. Floodlights off. Abandon the game. We'll come back in 10 minutes.
Oh no, this is like what happened on Sunday, right? So but no, I think Maddison will be a huge miss for you guys. Usually, I think he would like to go against players like Harrison, Arison, Sinclair, and Rodrigo, that's his game. He would like to be in that part, but it's a shame that he's going to be missing this game. But I think going against Wolves is going to be a good battle for him, and also against Man City as well.
Yeah, I mean, we all want Rodgers to show a bit more passion, Craig, and just a few stories that I've just seen on the things today. But one I discussed yesterday. And I'm going to go off the topic a little bit, but I do want to question this. Should managers not be setting a better example to the players? How can they say to the players, you're going in for that, you're arguing with this, you're arguing with that, when you got the likes of Klopp spitting in the face almost of a referee, and then you've got the violence outside the ground, you've got bricks being thrown at buses. I mean, believe it or not, coins being thrown at Anfield. You wouldn't have thought they'd have had enough spare coins to throw, but apparently they did. I mean, are we risking safe standing?
Well, I think so. I think you can't remove passion, and as you said, and you started that piece off there, but Chris, by saying we all want to see managers with passion. We'd love Brendan to get in the face of someone, for goodness sake. I think the only person Brendan gets in the face of is himself in front of a mirror telling himself how lovely he is. Because, but there is a line that needs to be crossed, to be honest. One, I'm not sure. For me, the fourth official should be somewhere down the tunnel. I don't know why they stand there, because they automatically become a focal point for the managers to have a go at. If they're not there, it sort of automatically brings it down. The fact is, there's always someone to moan at, so it just gets worse and worse and worse.
I think had he been having a go at the fourth official, that would have made we're not acceptable. But he's having a go at the poor, linesman.
He is, but what I'm saying is that's like the culmination of a number of things, throughout a game. I thought it was a foul, fair enough. I'd be annoyed, but you're right. They need to be able to do something. All I'm saying is take some of that away. Managers have always been vocal. They've always had a bit of a pop at a linesman or shouted at the ref. It's only got worse since they started bringing in a fourth official.
I mean, we've had a manager with passion in O'Neill, but I don't ever remember him getting up to those tricks. Jesse March, Karl, is he a passionate manager on the touchline? I mean, I know your previous one was known for his bucket, but and what has happened to that bucket? That is the big question everybody wants.
I don't know as well. Do you know what? I feel like Baleson took that bucket with him back to Argentina. Took quite on 2 years, so I don't know if it's still in the Leeds United.
It has made in Buenos Aires on the bottom.
It has to be.
I'm sure we've had a couple of games where that bucket's been playing centre half for us.
I'll give you that one. But Jesse March, is he a passionate manager?
Very passionate. I've seen him passionate, especially when it comes to goals. And also, I think when he was against Villa, he was very angry, a bit annoyed with the officials. Seen Aston Villa time wasted so much in the majority of the game. So he is very passionate. So we have seen that in him a lot more now. Maybe we didn't see it at the start when he came in, but we've now seen it a lot more. And yeah, he does go sometimes cross the line, but at least he reins himself back in, quite big, because he knows that he doesn't want to get in trouble later on. So, especially he got a game ban as well too, unfortunately as well. So, unfortunately, I think when he criticised the officials at Brentford, that resulted in him getting a game ban against Aston Villa, to quite honest. But he was sitting in the stands and did his best to communicate, but I do
remember when Nigel Pearson got sent to the stands, Craig, we actually went on a winning run.
We did, yeah. It sort of calmed everyone down a little bit. They were like, Jesus, thank God for that.
Yeah. I mean, does Jesse March come out with stupid excuses? And the one after there, Terry saying there, send a message to the visiting, I think he means Leeds fans there, but he's written Newcastle fans, please bring plenty of sun cream and sunglasses with you, shorts are obligatory. Blaming the heat in an October game. I mean, what is an outside fan, Karl? I mean, obviously you don't follow Leicester, and I get that, and you're not watching us all the time, but what do you look at Leicester now and think? Because not so long ago, and if you read my piece on, and it very, very neatly leads me into my BBC website, Leicester's page. Please read the Tuesday Talking Point. And I'm saying we've gone from the club that everybody wanted to be to the club that everybody's now laughing at. And when you've got a manager coming out and blaming the heat in October, do you look at us as a joke, or do you just think, not bothered?
To be quite honest with you, we looked at. I said I'll admit this. I think some Leeds fans looked at you guys as that club that it was models of how you were doing things on and off the pitch. Very much on the pitch with the transfer of buying players for quality, and you sell them on well when they've been in a certain number of appearances, like you do for Fafana and Maguire. And now I'm just seeing you now thinking we don't even care anymore. We try to follow more the Red Bull model than the Leicester model, because that was what we were looking at. But I think those 2 years of finishing out the top four, missing out for you guys, it's just like, your model doesn't work, and you don't get that finished sentence, or even on a letter or something. I'm just like, right. I have not really cared, and this is why I think with Rodgers, and this is why people up in Edinburgh and in Glasgow and in Scotland said that Rodgers, the way Rodgers walked out Celtic, all of us was like saying he's killed his legacy at Celtic, which is true. Which majority of the Scottish football fans do agree with that one. The way what's happened at Leicester, and it just sums it up how much the banner that was up on Saturday with your lot against Crystal Palace, and that says it all. I'm thinking, if you're not going to sack your manager, when? Because you got the World Cup. I know you don't want to take a risk, but who's available for you?
Yeah,
the managers available.
I said earlier, Craig, Pochettino's been linked with Villa at this way. By the time Top's taken his finger out his bottom and made a decision, we'll be looking at the guy that left Forest Green to go to Watford.
I think we should go after the Colville manager after their result at the weekend, to be honest.
Have a good result, did they?
They've reached the first round proper of the FA Cup. They won away at Notts County.
We couldn't do.
Colville Town. Yeah, exactly.
You're laughing stock.
We're not a laughing stock. I think we're just becoming irrelevant. I think that's the thing where, we, as Karl said, we were a team that were looked up to as this is the model. This is how lesser teams, and I wouldn't class Leeds as a lesser team. They're a massive club, but this is how lesser teams can do it. Do your proper scouting, bring in good players, develop them for a year or two, sell them on at a profit, and then do it all again. And it's like living within your means, but also living within the realities of what you can achieve as a club. And I think we're falling short of the standards that we set, and those standards were beyond where any of us would have thought we would have been anyway. But it's just, I mean, this is the game for me. I said this before. I said, a couple of weeks ago, I thought it was these games that we'd got with the 2 back-to-back home games, and I thought he needed to win both. He got a draw in one. You could have said we probably deserved to beat Palace, but we didn't. It comes down to this. I think nothing short of a victory, and I think that's it. I think
my worry is that we've been saying this. We are now, and I didn't realize until I read it, we are a quarter of a way through the season.
Yep.
And that gap is now 4 points. We need 2 wins to get out, or a win and a draw to get out of that bottom 3. What I said today is, I say we've literally gone from the model of a club to the other end. Now, I put at the bottom of my piece, I could say bbc.co.uk/Leicester City, Tuesday Talking Point, and I wrote, sort this out, Top, before it's too late. That was followed by Rob Tanner, and I'm not accusing him of pinching my lines at all, but he said, Leicester are a club in limbo and pressure is growing on Kuhn Top to act. We are now a club that is saying that we won't take birthday messages off people because they might be poking fun at the club and at Brendan. Nobody can bring in bigger than an A4 piece of paper in case they're going to put a banner out in the ground. I mean, that went well, didn't it? But
I've got to say, Chris, these are all social media stories. There were happy birthday messages on the board at half time. So again, it's another social media story that has just someone's created and, you know, it becomes fact. And that's happening far too often these days. Nobody asked us, or nobody was checking anybody, whether anybody was taking anything in other than they normally do. So I think
I did read that. In fairness, I did read that there wasn't any extra check.
You know, you have to take these things with a pinch of salt. But the fact that this is classic social media, though, isn't it? People have an agenda, and they'll create stories to fit the agenda, and that's what's happening. And it's just snowballing week after week after week. And as I say, I think he needs a big performance tomorrow, Thursday night. We've got players out, so it gives people an opportunity. He's got an opportunity. He's got an opportunity to look at it and say, right, these things have not worked so far. I'm actually going to try something different. If he tries something different and it doesn't come off, I know, silly. Chris. I know. But we all know he won't. You know, it's, you know, I think somebody said it in the show last week. And it is that classic thing of the madness is basically doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Like every time I watch Titanic, I'm thinking, it might not sink. Now, never let it be said that women sort of ever sit on the fence or indecisive. But good evening, Joan. Welcome along. How are you? Hello, Chris. I am kind of confident. I am kind of not. We'll go for a 2-2 draw. Nothing special. You know your colours to the mast there, Joan. Welcome along. How are you?
Joan, is that really Joan, or was that Brendan? Just
you
trolling
never know,
us.
do you? You never know. You know, it could be Brendan. It could be Brendan. Andrew, red card for manager should have the same punishment as the player. I think it probably, you know, he will get banned. I think
it does. Yeah.
He got charged today. He got charged today, so it means he will probably be banned by.
Yes, and quite right as well. Quite right, guys. It's so freaking hot. It's 1 degree, and it's at night as well. You know those hot, balmy nights in Leicester. Be careful,
well, especially with those lights on as well.
I know. I mean, they should bring the England team here, get acclimatized for Qatar. Yeah. You know, we haven't had the snow excuse yet, but you know it will be the wrong sort of snow. That's what it will be. Haven't had the rain one either. I did actually ask. I'm my own worst enemy here. I did ask for everybody to come up with excuses for Brendan so I can put a book together.
I think you should, if you're doing a watch along, Chris, I think you should have excuse bingo.
What, sorry?
Excuse bingo.
Yeah, that's enough. I like it. I might just do that. I mean, Karl, any worries for Leeds ahead of this game, injury at all, or are you pretty confident with the team that's going to go out?
We're still trying to get one of our young players back. I think Archie Gray's still out, so he's not going to be. I think he's still out with an ankle injury. I think Leon, he's coming back from his appendix, so he will be in the matchday squad. But I don't think it's going to be much injury problems at the moment. I think it's roughly it's on a change. It's same squad again anyway. I think Firpo is still going to be on the bench regardless. He's not fully fit, but not much injuries at the moment anyway. So from our ends,
yeah. And what players do you think are going to cause us the most problems?
I think it will be Brendan Harrison for a fact, and also
Brendan Rodgers. Yeah.
I knew. I will say two players: Brendan Harrison and Lucas Sincera. I think Sincera came to the club. He's been that different. He can actually. He's a bit more better than Rafinha. Rafinha's been bad at Barcelona, from what I've been hearing actually, and a lot of Barcelona fans were booing him after the El Clasico. So you know, we got the wasted our money. We got the money from them. So you know, but I have to say those are the two key players. I think when they do rotate each side, if they play on the left and the right, it can cause a bit of problems for each team, for each opposition, because they can play it in any of the attacking midfield. So I think Sincero with his left foot on playing on the right hand side, he's his favourite position. Once he cut across on the left back, he can actually whip the ball quite well. And so is Harrison as well, when he's playing in the middle or on the left as well too. He can actually really, really good on one-on-ones actually as well with and also his pressing as well off the ball is vital for us.
I mean, I'm just looking here. A win for us. You haven't won in 5, Karl, but a win for us well, would be nice. Would be impossible, but would be nice. But for example, that would give us 8 points. You're on 9. That dragged you right into it.
Yeah, but like my dad said, it's early days. I know a lot of Leeds fans will be questioning that we are going to be in a relegation fight, and that is true. We are going to be. If we finish around 17th and above, that's an incredible achievement again. If we have to, in a sort of way. But yeah, we do. We like I say, we do need to look at the back of how the other teams are playing, especially with Wolves winning this past weekend, as well. And also, like I say, if you win against us, that's huge pressure for us and the rest of the bottom of the table, because we know Forest. It's been Forest with their play, how many players they've got, about 150 players or whatever. And then Fulham started well, then they lost a bit. Southampton, we don't even know. We don't know what Southampton comes in every single day. So to quite honestly, and Villa as well. Aston Villa, I think we like I said, Gerrard's under pressure, and I think he, like I said, I think he will be gone by the end of October. I think he'll be gone. He'll be gone because. The reason why Gerrard is not done well, I think one thing he really did well at Rangers was his fullbacks was the key why he had that unbeaten season. And since he left, he's not had the same type of players he's had better players than he had at Rangers, but can't perform that he wants them to do. So in a way, at the moment, I just feel like, there's not much pressure on us because other teams under pressure with managers might be going soon, So it's just for us, we keep it to ourselves and focus on ourselves and each game at a time.
I mean, talking about can't get my words out about Villa. I mean, if he makes a decision top soon, Pochettino could be going to Villa. Thomas Franks apparently is in talks to extend his contract at Brentford. We're going to end up with Liz Truss in charge, aren't we, Craig?
Maybe Quasi, he's looking for a job.
I know, true, yeah.
I tell you what, though, at least Liz Truss isn't afraid to make changes. And I'm just looking here, and that led me very, very. It's a loose connection, but connection here to Brendan saying he hasn't thought much about changing the system. Now, am I going mad here, or are you looking at a team that's won 1 in 10 games and he's looking at that saying the systems work well for us?
Yeah. It's Brendan, isn't it? I mean, I remember when he joined us and
getting Liz.
And I think, he had the moniker of deluded Brendan before he came to us. And I think, he's got this life cycle. I think, he's got a life cycle where he can come in, he can put his ideas across. Everybody's really impressed with him, and then it just becomes dull and boring. And I think, as we said on this program before, teams after three seasons need freshening up. It's either the manager or it's the players. We've not been able to freshen up the players, so sadly, they need a new voice to listen to. Otherwise, everything becomes stale. Ferguson reinvented his team 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Wenger did the same at Arsenal. You're never too big a club to have a shake-up. Arsenal have done it and are going through again, and now they're coming out the other side of it. Every team has to go through it. The bigger teams can do it and bring in bigger players, so it affects them less. I just think that I liken us very much to England. You know me, Chris. Any opportunity to have a dig at Southgate?
No, never miss it. Never miss it.
People have just become stale. They've got their shirts. They're not being forced to fight for a shirt. Exactly the same in England. Closed shop. I can go through the motions. I'm still going to be in the squad. The Leicester team is being the same at the moment. Nobody's being put under pressure for their shirt, and that is only going to lead to a drop off in performance. And it only needs, at this level, we've said it before, only needs sort of a 5-10% drop off in performance, and you're going to be losing games.
Cags apparently has somehow mystically got another injury. According to Brendan, Cags has got an issue with his knee. He's had it since he came back from international duty. He has had a scan. We think he'll miss the game. No surprise there. But taking on board what you've just said, and Marty must be sat there thinking, don't need to do anything. If one of the two get injured, I'm a shoo-in.
I'm not. I really didn't like all the stick that Amati was getting, as if it was his fault that we didn't win that game. Amati gave the ball away 2 or 3 times, definitely. But he also played the best ball of the game. The one that he played through to Pratt near the end was like a defence splitting pass that Tielemans and Madders hadn't done. And overall, he did okay. As I said to you, when he's asked to do things that he's not comfortable doing, he looks flustered. But I think for him to be singled out, he's like an easy target, and I really don't like it, to be honest. He's never tried less than 100% when he comes on. He will put everything in. He doesn't coast through a game. He's not as talented as the others, but you can't hold that against him.
I mean, for me, as you know, last season he was my most improved player.
Yeah.
And I think the funny thing is, I think that was one of his better games against Palace. I mean, we didn't concede. All right, you could argue it was Palace, but he was on the right.
Yeah.
Early on in the year, he was on the left. You know,
he's an adaptable young lad, isn't he?
But he struggles on the left, though, doesn't he? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he does. I mean, that's his natural position. He's played right back as well, so he's more natural on that right side. I think he was a little bit nervous early on, and that's why he gave the ball away. However, I would also say those in front of him are culpable, because it's like Squid Game. It's like when Amati gets the ball, everybody stands still, otherwise you're going to get shot. Because that's what
you
it
should
seems
try
like.
that at training. That might put the fear of God in
absolutely no movement. There's no movement. You watch somebody like Bernardo Silva. He'll move into a space. If he doesn't get it, he'll move into another space. If he doesn't get it, he'll move into another space. Ours are like, do I really have to move? And that's it. So it's no wonder that some of our defenders get caught in possession, because when they look forward, their option is try a really risky pass or hoof it down the field or get caught in possession because they're being told to keep possession. So I don't think they are fully to blame. Obviously at this level they should be better, but I don't think they're helped a lot of the time by the lack of movement in front of them.
I know we're pretty much sure we know what formation Brendan's going to go for, which will be a 4-3-3. I think if he only had 8 players, he'd still somehow try and fit it into a 4-3-3. Karl, I mean, what is Jesse Marsh's favourite formation, and what do you think he'll go for tomorrow?
He'll usually go the
usual Thursday. Sorry,
he'll go the usual 4-3-2-1 formation like he always has been, especially with Managerial always in goal. I think Strike will keep at left back as usual. Cooper has been vital since being back from his injury, because I know he's had a little injury, along with Cox. Robbie Cox had a very good, decent season as well, which is since he's joined the club, so he's getting around games ahead of Llorente. And then Christensen on the right, and then we've got Rocker and Adams in a two-man defensive midfield. And I think Rodrigo will play up front. I think Bamford will come off the bench. I think Rodrigo up front, Sierra on the right. I think Harrison in the middle and Harrison on the left.
And I was looking earlier before you came in. I don't know whether you caught it or not, but I was looking at sort of the goals conceded, when, where, and how. Let me just bring this back up again, because we look at this and we can say, can't we, 60th minute onwards we're going to concede goals, because that's normally when Brendan makes his substitutions and it all goes wrong. We don't tend to score many. Now, you again in that last half an hour have the same problem by the look of it, but on the upside you're scoring, but you're probably about the same as us with conceding.
Absolutely. I think it's due to it's the tiredness after probably 60 minutes. When we're running out after with maximum pace after 60 so minutes or so on, I think we struggle onwards, and that we saw that against Palace, for example. We didn't have a shot on target as much in the majority of the second half, and that just shows the issue why from the 60th, 75th minute onwards it's been an issue, especially we've been conceding that most goals in that late in the game, which we need to be better at. I think that needs to be cut down. I think that's why we need to have a better game management for per game to make sure we don't concede more goals in the last 15 minutes of the game, because that is the critical point, is try to keep either a clean sheet or keep a one goal scoreline between. So yeah, it's a huge one with that one. I think the one thing we've had issue is, especially, I think the way our fullbacks can get open a little bit more. I think that's what kills us at the moment, especially. So I think because it's been goals not in open air, it's been more like low crosses. We've struggled with that a little bit, which we need to be better at. And that's where those goals in the last 15 minutes is the one where we've been struggling, balls on the ground in the last, because we are getting tired out and we don't have many fresh substitutes. Well, we do have a decent bench, but not everyone can play in certain things. I think the problem is he has someone like Stuart Dice back in the squad. He would make that difference of trying to, play at any of those positions if they need to keep it for the last 15 minutes of the game.
Are you surprised, Craig, that we concede so many after the favourite time for substitutions for Leicester?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty shocking that we haven't scored after 75 minutes all season. That's pretty poor. It used to be Foxy's never quit, and now it's Foxy's quit at 75 minutes, I think. It's a worrying stat that we're not scoring and we're conceding. But, why change a losing team? That's what Brendan's philosophy seems to be.
I had to think about that then.
Yeah.
Talking about a losing team, we're going to be looking at a few score predictions straight after this.
Happy Halloween. Do try not to die.
We've had a few nightmare performances this season, haven't we, Craig?
We have indeed, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right, these are the score predictions. Now, Brad, I'm going to be honest with you here, Karl. I
Brad, right? I know. You don't have to explain it to me. I know. Yeah.
He's gone for 5-0 to Leicester. Oh, God love him. I mean, we'd all love that, obviously, but I don't think it's going to happen. I've gone for 2-1, as indeed as my esteemed colleague in the middle there. It's a bit like University Challenge, this, isn't it? If I poke, does it have my finger come through? Craig's gone for 2-1 as well. Steve Leinix has gone 1-1, as indeed has Ian Marshall. Tags has gone 2-0. Steve Walsh has gone 2-1, the same as Craig and myself, and Ian Wilson has gone 3-1. Can I just say, do not worry about that, because the most points anybody has got, and you say that you get 3 points for a correct answer. The leader on the board has got 5 points at the moment. Craig and me, I think we've got 1 each, so we're not good. Those are ours. You obviously, can you see a win for Leeds, or would you be happy with taking the point away at this point if we gave it to you?
It's a good question, actually. I've been thinking about carefully. I think if we didn't perform on the Arsenal game, I would have worried about just taking the draw to quite honestly here. But I think that performance that proves us we were still in the game, and we've now seen the Leeds the last couple of weeks from a couple of weeks ago are kind of slowly coming back, just to get the right scoreline. I think we can get a win out of this one. I think we can do it to put more pressure on Rodgers, because, like I said, wherever we go, the fans need to be very vocal. And if we're vocal for the first goal, I think we can start playing well in the first 10, 15 minutes, which is very important. But we do need to, like I said, better game management so we can make sure we can close out the games. That is vital. So for me, I'm going to say Leeds win with this one. I'm going to say 2-1 because I don't care.
I would not expect anything less of you, sir.
I know.
Can I just say, though, of course, the news today is that Leicester have got some new sponsors now. Apparently, we're going to be sponsored by John West because we get battered everywhere we go. Yeah. Oh, what can I say?
I have this every week, Karl.
If we don't laugh, we'll cry, won't we? If we don't laugh, we'll cry. Karl, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming on, having a laugh and a joke, taking it in good stead. I'd wish you all the best, but I really... No, I never mean it normally, but even at the moment, I mean it less now than
I know.
before. But after Thursday, I wish you all the best for the rest of the season. I do like Leeds. What I think like about Leeds is the fans is they've not come up like Forest have with when you came up. You didn't come up with we're back where we belong.
Yeah,
this is where we should be. Which I think a lot of people were expecting, but you didn't. So big up to you for that. But again, as I said before, your link is in the description below. But just give a shout out as to where people can find you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. Thank you as well. You can find me personally at Karl Levy United 2 on Twitter. That's my personal Twitter. But you can find the Totally Levy and Hot Football podcast on the LHFootballPod on Twitter as well. Also on our channel, on our YouTube channel as well. We will trying to get up to 50 subscribers. So please click subscribe. And we're also on Facebook as well too. And if you are on the go as well, you can listen on Spotify, Apple, Google, and other podcast streaming services as well.
Brilliant, sir. Thank you very much as always. And I'm sure we'll get you on doing another quiz before the end of the season.
Absolutely.
Keep all the questions for the end as always. Mate, thank you very much. Take care. Okay. And I know that I will probably speak over the weekend, depending who's winning.
Yeah. Aye.
All the best, mate. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Apparently, Terry's just had an email off Rodgers. He's asked for his prediction to be added of Leeds 3, Leicester 0. And Leeds have a great second half. I presume this means against Arsenal. If they play with the same intensity, they will win by the odd goal. But you touched on it earlier. This is make or break, do you feel, for Brendan? Is this the one?
I think so. I mean, you've looked at this and you thought, you came into a run of maybe a sort of 4 winnable games: Forest, Bournemouth, Palace, and Leeds. And if he doesn't win this, if he gets a draw, even, we've come out of 5 points from 12, potential 12 against those teams. Again, no disrespect to them, but you've got to be at least seeing signs. And there were some good signs. If Barnes had a decent touch, then we would have got a couple of goals. But it's just the overall malaise is setting in, really, I think. And I don't think that Top will give him many more chances. You keep going to the next game and the next game and the next game, and at some point, I don't think he wants to sack him. I really believe that. I think he believes in Brendan, and I think we would all like to believe in Brendan, in the long term. And if he gets through this patch, it'd probably do everybody the world of good. He's never been through this kind of patch and come out of it the other side. So I'm desperate for us to win anything other than a win, and I think it could be curtains for him. I
mean, we never, any of us, want a manager to lose a game to get a manager sacked. I've said that many times, and we don't. The sensible ones don't. But I just think, like, when Brendan came in, we are playing now like we were playing under 12. And when Brendan came in, he got us playing exciting again. He got Vardy involved. But he's now gone back to how we were before he came in, and that's what I don't understand. He has taken us backwards.
We're predictable, and if you're he likes to purport to be a clever coach. I'm not seeing it. I don't think anybody's seeing it anymore. We're not seeing any tactical genius during a game in terms of changing things around. It's very much the same. Even his changes were pretty much like for like. Just bringing on fresh legs, but in the same position. There was no change of thought of posing a different kind of question to the opposition until the game was running out. He's just stubborn. I think that's the problem. He's stubborn. He's stuck in his ways. He believes in Brendan and Brendan's methods, and he won't waver from it.
Yeah. It does remind me of the Peter Taylor years, this.
Yeah.
And can we afford to be relegated? That's the question at the end of the day. And I don't think it's money, because I think you would find the money to pay him off if need be. And he's disputing that it's that 10 million, etc. It probably isn't. Again, that's probably another social media myth. But if needed, I'm sure Top would find the money to do
of
that.
course it would.
You know,
Yeah. I think no. I mean, the answer to is we can't afford to, but if we do, we do, and we'll come back again. The fact is, I think what it'll mean is that it puts us back 3 years, really, in real terms. The better players will be sold, and you have to start again.
yes.
But the way you get out of the championship, and I mean, we shouldn't even be talking like this at this stage, but the way you get out is by having a solid, cohesive unit that all buys into the manager and the manager's methods, and you roll your sleeves up when you get yourself out the stadium, out that division. I'm not sure Brendan is the man to bring a team back. That's for sure.
My worry is that all our so-called options are being, like you say, Pochettino's been linked with. I mean, what of Pochettino? I could see him going to Villa over Leicester because it is.
Well, I think that might happen anyway. I mean, let's not kid ourselves that Pochettino's just sitting by his phone waiting for the call from us.
I'm saying if there was a choice, if he had the call on the same day, to my mind, and people are going to hate, I'm going to get hate mail for this, but you could argue that Villa are the bigger club.
Of course they are. No argument for me there. But I mean, we say we're running out of options as if we know all the options. I think that the reality is all we've got. Anybody who's been linked with us, apart from Thomas Frank, is someone who isn't in a job. You know, I've not heard barely anyone out of the ranks of the unemployed who have been linked with it. You know, has anybody has said, how about this manager? How about that manager? You know, there's no standout candidates. But then in the past, I don't think any of us would have gone for Ranieri.
No, indeed. I'm just a bit worried because, of course, Steve Bruce is available now.
Well, we can hope.
Right. You know, we do it every week.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit interesting this week for me because we have got a few changes.
It's going to be interesting to see whether you've got the formation I want to play, Chris, first.
Well, you know, I probably won't have.
No.
On this. I thought I'd gone for it, but obviously not.
What I'd like is a 4-1-3-2, Chris. Okay, I'll leave that one with you. I'll finish my drink while you're sorting that
No,
one out.
I haven't got a 4-1-3-2. Did we not go? Oh God, you know I haven't got that. I've got a 4-1. How about that? No, that's two up front, isn't it?
Oh no, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's go with that.
Oh, yeah, but okay. Okay.
Yeah, let's just those three are going to be all playing in front of a central defensive mid. So let's do that then.
Yeah. Okay. Are you sticking with Ward in goal?
I mean, I've put Everson in the last couple of, but I'm gonna be fair to Ward. He's not really done anything wrong, and to be honest, he had one shot to save, and he made a decent save against Palace. So
yeah,
why not?
Yeah, I mean, when he was called upon, he was away, and that's all you can ask for.
I mean, as I say, I mean, a lot of people were giving a Marty stick, but all of Palace's threat is up front, and they didn't really do much.
Well, they took off Sahar. They took off Edouard.
Sahar got subbed. Ayew was switched. Eze didn't really do anything. He had one effort. So I thought we kept them pretty quiet, to be fair.
Yes,
so
yeah.
So I think it'll be same again.
So Justin on the left, and then now I always get these the wrong way around. Faze again. Please, and I don't know if you subscribe to Athletic, but if anybody out there doesn't. I just can't believe that Rob Tanner just seems to hit the nail on the head, and he has written a great piece about Face. And please, as I say, even if you only do it for 6 months and get your pound, first 6 months for £1 a month, that is worth the read. Right, Amate, and then Castagna.
Yep.
I don't think Ricardo is anywhere near fit, is he?
No, not at all. No.
Now then, Indeed, I don't know whether Indeed is fit enough to come back. Do you go with Mendy, who looked good when he came on, or Sumare, who, to be honest with you, for me, hasn't put the foot wrong?
No, but I'm going to go for Mendy. Because I want the five in front of him to be forward thinking. I think Mendy senses danger a little bit more, and I think he keeps the ball well. He's not as progressive as maybe Samari is, but I think if you're looking for the back five, and particularly that back three with him in it, so the fullbacks can push forward and apply the width, I think you need someone who's a little bit more disciplined to sit in there.
As you know, I mean, I've loved Mendy. I mean, it's hard to believe that at one point he was our most expensive ever signing.
I know, yeah. And then we left him out of a squad, you know.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's Brenda for you, isn't it? But I think I do like Mendy as a player. Right, centre midfield on the left. Is this Mr. KDH?
KDH.
Now then, on the right, who are we going to go for?
Pratt.
Well done. Well said, that man.
No, I was calling you a Pratt. I'm going for Perez.
You know what? If I didn't know you better, but I know you'd never pick Perez.
Hey, I quite like Perez. Perez got dropped after his best game for us. So there's Brendan again.
Was that Southampton?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't work it out. Del Boy's in. What's the crack, mate? Welcome along. Get the swear jar out. How you do? Top of the table, Del Boy. Top of the table. You got to be happy. I don't know. You're an Arsenal fan, so maybe not. Okay. We're going to have in that centre midfield role.
I think it is Tielemans. I mean, I was quite tempted to put Perez in there as a 10, but let's go with Tielemans.
Well, we've tried him there a few times, didn't we? Because everybody said at the start, oh, he's not a winger, he needs to be in the middle. And he didn't really impress there either. But
I think he's a clever player, I think. And if you've got more solid base behind, I think he can do something, especially if he's got two in front of him rather than one. But for now, we'll go with Tielemans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever known Pratt and Tielemans start the same game, but
no.
Who knows? Now then, are we going for Mr. Don't know how to score a goal this season, Vardy, or Mr. Daka? I've got two more than the hero.
Daka in Iheanacho for me.
Yeah.
I want to see them. You know, they only started at Brighton, and yes, we lost, but they looked like they were developing a bit of an understanding, and I think we need it. We just lack goal threat, and you know, Barnes is becoming Brendan's. So Barnes is the rope that Brendan will hang himself with. Sadly,
yes, yeah. And don't just keep talking while I'm trying to find out how I can never spell Iheanacho. You know that.
He's Barnes has clearly got talent and he plays well in bursts, but he's just not. It's not enough. It's not enough. You don't get 70 minutes out of Barnes. You get a couple of patches, and that's great if he's finishing, fine. But for me, we've got to have more out of him, and we're not at the minute. And I'd like to see him as an impact player, a bit like Vardy, coming on later when defenders are a little bit tired, get the ball to him and let him attack his fullback. But I think we need a partnership up front, and I'd like to see these two given time to do it.
I'd like to find he's never available under Iheanacho, even when I spell it correctly. He just doesn't exist. Thank you, Scott. I was on another screen. I didn't see you spell it there. But no, I put in. You've got to put Kelechi Iheanacho in for some reason. There's so many players out there called Iheanacho. I'm sure, isn't there? So to me, that is a very good team.
I like the look of that. I think that can do a job. That's quite creative. You've got some runners in the middle of the park there. You've got fullbacks that can get forward. Mendy can drop in and make a three. It's adaptable for me, I think, and we can dominate the game in the middle of the pitch.
And I still say that Kelechi is that bond between, or that missing link between the midfield and whoever's up front.
I mean, Kelechi, yeah. I mean, even when he came on the other day, first thing he looks to do, cut inside and get a shot off. Now he didn't, he didn't really trouble the keeper, but then nobody did. But he's positive. His first thought is, can I go forward? That seems to be his thing. He's not a player who looks backwards when he gets it. He looks forward, and that's what we need. And I like his attitude, and I think those two can form a partnership if they're given some time.
I think they can. Will they ever be allowed to form a partnership? Who knows?
Maybe under a different manager.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, thank you for that, Craig. Let me ask you a question. Do you know what it's like for Chelsea to be in financial trouble and be relegated?
No.
No, well, back in 1974-75, they were. And if anybody wants to tune in to what it says below there, which is Leicester Till I Die Radio, tomorrow night we will be looking at, I think it's going to be about 7 o'clock, we're going to be looking at the 1974-75 season in words and music. And Chelsea didn't have a very good one. What a shame. Greg, mate, thank you very much. Enjoy the game when you go on Thursday, sorry. If we don't win, I'm going to start blaming you, and you've been our unlucky mascot.
Fair enough. I am the Leicester Till I Die regular there, so I have to take it all on my shoulders.
You do. All I will say is, please, everybody, if you've got your lucky underwear, get it out. Even if it's in the wash, just get it out and put it on. We need everything we can get. Craig, as always, you're a gentleman, sir. Thank you very much for coming on.
Welcome.
And we'll speak soon.
Right,
Take care.
Bye, everyone. Cheers.
Bye-bye. The wise old owl there, Craig, thank you so much for coming on. He's got to go and watch these things live. At least I can get up and go and turn over the channel at home. But look, thanks very much. We're going to be back tomorrow, okay, not 7 or 8 o'clock, and we'll be doing it on the radio, mixcloud.com/LTID radio, or you can go to all the W's. LeicesterTillIDie.com again /radio. Cheers, Craig. All the best, mate. And it's the new radio station. You do have to subscribe to it, but it is free. You don't get loads of emails or anything like that. You literally just have to put your details in. Please do follow us. It's a bit of fun. We can play. I mean, if you're of a certain age like me, and I feel really old, because the music we'll be playing alongside the chat is all music from those from the 12 months of the season. We're going to say hello to Daniel. Hi guys, like your channel and always interested in what you guys talk about. Great work. Thank you very much. Saints fan in Toronto, Canada. How is Canada, sir? Is it cold? We might have to bring Leicester over there because we can't play in the heat, so we might be able to play over there. Saints, what? Yeah, you're on the downward spiral as well a little bit, aren't you? 4 lost in the last 5, but then again, I'd still swap places with you at the moment. I'd swap places with Wolves at the moment. Oh, tell you what, it's scary. If you don't laugh, you cry. Thanks very much. I'm going to be back at 9 o'clock. It's the prediction show. Don't forget, be there, be square. Because see if Brad actually turns up on time for this one. You know what he's been like recently. And hopefully Steve LTIDtv is free as well. 9 o'clock on this channel. If you've been listening on the podcast, thank you for lending me your ears. Have them back now. Social media, we're all over the place. It all comes up at the end. And I say, please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Great. If you have subscribed, smash the likes. Just gets us appearing on everybody else's page as well. And also the radio station, mixcloud.com /LTID radio. We'll take you straight through. You just register with your email and then you'll get notified every time we go live. It's a little bit different. You can still join in like you can on here. There's a chat thing, so you can have words, chat to me, say what you think about the shop, about the show, etc. So it's very, very much interactive, just as this is. But it's just radio, and it just means that I can play music, which I can't on here because of the license. But that does give me a license to play the music, even if it is 1974-75 music. Who remembers the bump? Yeah, we all remember the bump. I've still got a bad back because of that. See you at 9, guys. Good night.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die, This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Leicester Till I Die TV. They think it's all over. It is.